That right there will probably be exactly what they want tonight. But until we actually identify what the group is. So we're on our way back to the truck, coming along the edge of this cotton field. Overrated when they think of hogs. This is where it's going. This is the technology of trapping hogs. But maybe a hawk will come by and tune them up. Today, trap maintenance. We've got 3 different systems to get to. Beautiful day here in South Georgia. There's some kind of, like, somebody's depressed way out in the ocean, and I guess their emotions are flowing, and it's causing a bunch of wind to come this way, but not a bunch of evil crap coming with it, like normally what we get with hurricanes. So there's a little bit of a breeze. It's in the low 90s. So the possibility of sweating like white in church might be kind of slim today. Basically 3 different systems. I'm looking at the board. 3 different systems that we got to get to today. 2 are traps. 1 is just a bait site. Kind of give you an idea of, you know, how we do what we do. Exciting news for us is on our property in Central Florida, we now have a single boar that was really shy, very, very shy. Someone's been really mean to him. He's starting to accept the chief trap and coming in and actually staying. That's exciting for us in the hog trapping world. A bait site that we set up on Friday. Yes, Friday is a few hogs here and there, a few hogs here and there. Last night we had 19, so that's what we're looking for. This is on the west end. If you followed any of our videos, this is on the west side of the property where we've had a major security breach of hogs due to water. They're coming in for the water, not the food. But we put a bait site right next to a water sink, you know, like Tarzan and Jane and the water sink thing. Spring water is beautiful. There's a breach there. And so they found the bait site. It's been like 1 or 2, 3, 4 hogs here or there. Boom, last night, 19. I mean, that's what we're looking for. So there is a high probability that tonight at some point we will flip the switch on the chief trap, taking out the single, and then move the chief trap to that bait site, provided we get this activity that we're looking for. So that's pretty exciting for us. We probably will make a stop by the pecan orchard today, where about a week ago we did a reactive hog. And again, if you follow the videos, you know why we did what we did. But we did a reactive thing for hog control, which is not what we're about. We do have hogs coming into that chief trap, but unfortunately they already got the taste of the orchard and the soft soil from the irrigation and the nut grass. So it's kind of hard to get that taste out of their mouth. When they taste that, they're like, you want me to come over here? And we're between, you know, the bedroom and the pecan orchard. We're not in the pecan orchard. So we were catching them on the way, but they're coming by and going, hey, that's corn and that really tastes good, but why would I want to eat that when I've already had this? That's the issue with reactive hog control. You're behind the 8 ball. If that trap would have been in place when they came up on that orchard, we would have had them first because of the taste of the corn. But now they've got the better taste in their mouth. So it's like a dog. If you feed a dog, you know, primo dog food, and we do. We feed primo dog food to the baby. And then you try to feed it some garbage junk from, you know, I guess I can't say that, but some kind of a store. I mean, hell, she's going to spit it out. I mean, it is what it is. So that's on the roll today. That's what we got planned. We're going to load up the Tacoma, take the big 4-wheeler, keep working on this new camera. We're looking at the footage. Zeb made a couple tweaks and settings. Zeb is actually at the house right now working on our next YouTube video. It should be released today. We are getting better. I am getting more relaxed. I am getting more with humor. There's always going to be that deep side to me, the deep emotional side, because that is who I am. You can trap hogs and be a loving, caring man. You can do that. That might not be the stereotype, but we're kind of all about breaking stereotypes. At least I am. So sit back, enjoy the day, beautiful scenery, and we're going to do our best to educate you and then give you just a smidge of entertainment. So here we go. As I said, it's a beautiful day here in South Georgia. Got a lot of wind, probably about 90 degrees. Fixing to punch down a couple Greek yogurts. That's going to be my lunch today. But we're going to load up the four-wheeler, and we got to cut back about a mile through the woods. A lot of people don't understand why we need so many different pieces of equipment. It's just because we're trying to get into these spots. Some of these spots we can't drive trucks into. The big four-wheeler does really well. We can run a couple fire breaks to get back there to it. And we've got a bait site back there that is the access point to most hogs to this property. That's where most of these hogs come into this property. So it's like our first little warning sign that we know we're up against. Now the camera back there has appeared to have lost its mind. We technically call it a runaway camera. We started buying Pro products in 2016, became a dealer in 2018. 2016, since then we've only had one camera do this. We're gonna take the laptop back there. I know that's crazy. We're going to take the laptop back there and we're going to do a software update, try a few other things to see if we can get it to behave itself. If not, then I'll get Pro camera support on the phone and we'll go from there. But hog trapping has changed. 20 years ago, it was, metal and heavy fishing line for a tripwire. Now it's cellular cameras, it's laptop computers, SD cards, micro SD cards, lithium batteries. I mean, it's a different machine. But as these hogs evolve, we as trappers have to evolve. So we're going to get loaded up. I may even put the GoPro, Zeb showed me how to use it, God help me, on the four-wheeler and get a little footage that way, but I don't know. I mean, the inside of the truck now looks like a video recording studio or something. It's got tripods and cameras and more junk. But anyway, we're trying to let you take a dive into our world. All right, here we go. So we're loaded up. I'm not sure how people who do these videos for a living get any work done, to be honest. I mean, trying to hook all this crap up and videotape it, I guess it gets better with time. But I decided to hook up the GoPro to the front of the four-wheeler. But as you can see, probably, I have it hooked up wrong. It's actually filming the front of the headlight. But it doesn't look the best, but we found this to be probably one of the best systems. Yoga mat, which I do stretch every morning, but I don't do yoga. The ladder, and then our corn. Top backpackers, our trapping bag, and that other bag's a computer bag. And now we have the camera video bag, which is a recycled fishing bag. And you'll see over here that I did have my yogurt. And I do wear sunglasses, but I'm old school. I was taught that people want to see your eyes, and I think our younger generation needs to learn these things. So if I do squint, it's just because I am used to wearing sunglasses. It's not because there's something wrong with me. I mean, there probably is something wrong with me. But I squint just because it's bright and I'm normally wearing sunglasses. But I was raised that people want to see your eyeballs. And so if I'm going to do these videos, for the most part, you're going to see my eyeballs. But anyway, we're going to head back that way and turn the GoPro around. I doubt you want to see me riding a four-wheeler through the woods. So get back here and let's see if we can fix that camera. Now I'd have to call Pro for technical support, and then I can get back to trapping hogs. Okay, we're at bait site number 3. That's what we call this one here. There was a trap here probably about a year ago. We trapped a couple groups out of it. They actually come from the neighbor's property. There's a little wet hole down there. they'll come up here, and this is generally their first entry point. So this is like the border checkpoint. The camera is doing what we call a runaway camera, where it's just taking pictures really fast and a lot of pictures. First thing we're going to do is remove all the batteries, all the lithium batteries, the 12 lithium batteries from the camera. And then we're going to disconnect the 6-volt backup battery from it. And then we're going to get the laptop out, take my other phone, hook up to a hotspot. We're going to go into my.jagerpro and look for the most current update for this particular camera and the model. And at that point, we will update that camera, basically update the firmware, and then we're going to test the camera and see if it's starting to behave itself again. Sometimes it is a firmware issue. But so as you can tell, we've got the, let me swing around here. Still getting used to this new camera. But that's the big pole, same old big pole, same old feeder. And the neat part about this setup, the way we do it, is if this turns into a really hot bait site, we'll just wrap it. Everything's in play. Big pole's where we need it, feeder's where we need it. We know where our gate's going to be. So this is a computerized module set up here. I don't know what the hell it is, but it's got computers and phones and cameras, and that's going to be the project right now. Normally we would jump on the feeder first. That's our first priority when we get on any site. Feeder, bait site, trap, jump on the feeder. In this particular case, we're going for the camera first, because the camera's going to take us a little bit to see if we can get this thing to work. So technology, it is what it is. But like I said, since 2016, this is only our second camera that's done a runaway for us. So that's not bad considering all the cameras that we're running. So we're pretty impressed with that. That's not an advertisement, it's just a fact. Now, those of you in TV land, this might be as exciting as paint drying, but this is where it's going. This is the technology of trapping hogs. So everyone who buys a JagerPro camera will have two accounts. And the way I explain it to folks is you're going to have a money account and you're going to have a kind of like super managed account. So you can do a lot with the app, but with your account called my.jagerpro.com, you can go in there and you can look for your model camera and then what you need to download to get the latest firmware. And that's all done through SD card. Okay, so you're going to get your SD card, you're going to download it, and then you're going to walk over to your camera. We've already removed all the batteries, and we're going to put the batteries back in, and we're going to download this latest firmware version and see if this can't help fix it. Now, I showed in another video, when you're a trapping geek, which is I guess what I am, then you carry SD cards, you carry all kinds of things in your pockets 24/7, because this is where it's going. So if you come over here, you'll see that I've removed all of the batteries, disconnected the 6-volt, and then we're going to give this a try. So for some of you that trap hogs and you're running JagerPro equipment, this might be very helpful. For some of you it won't be. We're not going to spend a long time on it, but it'll just be kind of helpful. And then for some of you, it's to show you the technology that's behind this. We're not running trip wires, we're not running metal whatever. I mean, this is where it's at. We weren't doing this 20 years ago, but now this is how you're going to fight the hogs. Well, the good news is we did get the camera firmware updated. The bad news is, but it ain't really bad, camera's under warranty. JagerPro cameras have a 2-year warranty. The runaway issue, as we call it, is internal. We did update the firmware, that was successful, but it's got a runaway issue internally. So at that point, contact JagerPro, which I've already done. RMA number will be issued. We carry spare ice, mine, and live video cameras with us in the truck, so I had brought an extra ice camera just in case we couldn't get it fixed. So swap the camera out, go home, ship it, get a new camera in, come back, everything gets swapped back around. So basically what happens is the camera is set to take a picture every 2 minutes, and it takes a picture every 2 minutes whether there's any motion or not. So if a hog was to come in here right now, okay, the camera's going to take a picture, and then in 2 minutes it takes another picture, even though the hog's moving around. And you can adjust that. 2 minutes is just standard default setting. Helps save on battery life. So if you were if this was a trap and you're wanting a lot of pictures coming in, you could change it to 30 seconds. But the camera thinks there's something going on every 2 minutes no matter what, so it just keeps popping it. So it's annoying, but again, second one since 2016, so we feel pretty fortunate. Went ahead and did trap maintenance or feeder maintenance, got all the feeder done. I'm gonna grab the camera, swing it around there so y'all can see. We had a lot of coons because there's a big wet hole about, I don't know, 800 yards down that way. And when that hole is really wet, the coons hammer this thing. They're relentless. So we basically just super varmint guarded it with hardware cloth. Right now, there was 2 boars using this. We haven't seen them recently. Don't know what's up with that. Directly that way, quarter mile, give or take, we have a trap. So a lot of times what they'll do is they'll come here to this bait site. Bam, we got them on, we know they're on property. And then we get them real comfortable with this bait site. Then we come over and just turn the on-time feeder off. And they will literally drift that way. It's kind of their travel pattern. And they go down there, they find this trap. We've already identified them here, now we've identified them there, we flip the switch. Once we take care of the mess down there, it's cleaned up, then we come back here, fire the feeder back up. So it's what we call a bait and switch, and we use it all the time. That way our customer is not having to have 2 systems pretty close to each other. Now, would it be smarter to have the trap here? Maybe, we did that, but then we still had the issue there. So right now we're just running a bait and switch on them. It's a little bit more time consuming with our manpower because we're having to come back here and physically turn the feeder off. It would be wonderful one day if the technology is there, which it probably is, to remotely shut feeders down, crank them up higher, throw more corn. I mean, that would be great for people like us that are running 22 systems. So anyway, let me show you what this thing looks like once we just really wrap it hard in hardware cloth. Hopefully I'm doing good with this new camera. So you can see there, it's a standard, what we call our standard varmint guard. It's got some modifications. We call it the Hog Cutters feeder package, but we wrap it in hardware cloth. We don't worry about the bottom, but them coons are like magicians. I mean, they're like circus clowns. I don't know what they are, but I mean, they'll put their little hands through these big squares, right? And they'll get in there and they just flutter that spinner, and I mean, they'll empty it. You see a lot, the magnetic foam mounts. I'm not sure who makes them, but man, we use them. I mean, they're just, it's the junk right there. Now, unfortunately, I've, driven down the road, look out the window, and there's a phone hanging on the side of the truck, hanging on the side of the gator. And hopefully that was, kind of a little helpful clip there. The next trap we're headed to is going to be called Pigpen. It's down in the woods. Had good success with Pigpen. Here lately, it's been nothing but single boars, just popping them single boars that are coming out. Haven't had a group in a while on Pigpen, but that's okay. So hang on. Little beautiful scenery here for you in South Georgia. All right, we're on our way to the Pigpen trap, and I saw my friend Mr. John. We've been trapping on his farm for years. Mr. John helped us with the 23 square mile project. He was, me and him were boots on the ground. Started off with the 7 systems on 18,000 acres. And then we ended up, Mr. John had to take a step back when COVID kicked in real hard. But ultimately we trapped 1,028 hogs in 8 months. And Mr. John was the one who launched that project for us. So I'm going to swing over here and you take a look at Mr. John, and he's going to give you some words of wisdom. A good old South Georgia farmer. All right, Mr. John, give him some wisdom.
Well, I'll tell you something I already knew. Josey told me. And when I want to be, I ain't got patience. When I see 3 hogs go in the trap, I want to drop the gate. And Josey said, just hold on, let's see how many's in there. And he did that just below the house. They must have been 8, 10 going in there, and I thought, oh, the farmer's fixing to move in, let's drop the trap. But Josey held on until he got to 14 hogs. He counted them when they went in there, and he had 14 before. So he dropped the trap on them, caught all of them. It'd been me, I'd have caught 3 and scared the rest of them off. So have patience and watch. Don't catch the first hogs. Watch your group of hogs and see how many you got before you drop the trap.
So how long you lived here, Mr. John?
75 years.
In 5 years?
Yes.
And you still going strong?
Yeah.
When did the hogs first come?
Oh, the ones I got into was about 2013, and they've been here growing ever since. And my farmer told me if I couldn't do something about the hogs, he didn't know if he was going to be able to keep planting peanuts on the place. So I had to do something, you know. And then we found out about you, Josey, and y'all's family with the Jagger Pro traps and the camera traps, and I can't believe you can be in New York and drop the gate down here. But they just, if you don't do something about them, when you see some, you better get them now. Don't wait.
And y'all ran them with dogs and ran thermals. You did everything, right? Square trapped them?
Yeah.
Trigger traps?
Tried it all. I'd see, one night I went and I must have seen 25 hogs. And then one time I caught 2 in the little trap. Well, the 23 went somewhere else, you know, and so it scared them. They went somewhere else to root. So that's what you run into with these little traps. You don't know what's out there. You don't have a camera on them. You just don't know what you're scaring off, you know.
All right. Well, anyway, little words of wisdom from Mr. John. Good friend. We run 2 systems. He leases his farm now. You still farm, but you ain't tearing it up like you were.
Just cows.
Yeah, just cows now. But he leases it to a farmer that we work for, and we run 2 systems year round on both sides of the dirt road here. And it's just I love him. I do. Man, we got some stories.
Yeah.
Crazy ass stories when we were trapping that 18,000 acres. Good Lord. Because it was just me and him. The boys were still in school. COVID hadn't, kicked in yet. Good Lord, we didn't know what we were getting into, did we?
I sure did. Sure did.
I mean, dragging hogs. We didn't know about putting winches on trailers. I mean, man, it was a hot mess. And Mr. John will work all day on a package of crackers and a bottle of water. Maybe 2 bottles of water on a hot day.
I ain't quite as spry as I was.
He said it was kind of hard to keep up with me after a while. He said it got kind of hard. I said I go kind of hard at it, but anyway, I used to get him up at 3 o'clock in the morning. I'd drop a gate, call him, and he'd come out with me, and we'd drag hogs. Anyway,
I loved it.
He loves it. I mean, he really does. But he don't like the hogs, but he loves trapping them. So, all right, we're going to get back to it. Well, that was Mr. John. Man, as you can tell, I love the man. He's just a good man. We had so many good times, trapping hogs. Man, I just retired. My world was flipped upside down. There was probably days I didn't know what day it was, and he never judged me for that. He just accepted me for who I was, and I don't know. I never really had a grandpa, and I'm not saying he's old enough to be my grandpa. He's not, but, society has vacuumed out guys like him. Just the salt of the earth. Give you the shirt off his back, don't want nothing. I mean, he's a true servant to the land. And, to have the honor to work with him, he wouldn't let me pay him. He wouldn't take no money. And hey, stop at the dollar store and get me a package of crackers and a bottle of water. That's what he'd say every day. And I started just carrying packages of crackers in the truck for him. But we're easing back through this pecan orchard, and then we're going to skate alongside this cotton field. There are very few traps that we run that we can actually drive to the trap. This particular one we can. We have permission from the farmer. you know, to skate along it. You don't want to run over a bunch of crops, but we skate the edge of this field, and he's good with that because he knows we've got to get back in here with a truck or a gator or a four-wheeler or something. But a lot of times it's just too muddy, and so we got to do something smaller. But today it's pretty dry, so we'll ease back in here with the little Tacoma and the micro hog. But yeah, it's Mr. John fought hogs for a long time, so man, he sees like one tiny little bit of rooting, he's on the phone calling me. So he's like I don't know, he's like a massive intelligence for hogs. But they threatened his livelihood and threatened his farm. And so we did a video years ago and put it on Facebook, and I think it's on our website, you know, where he talked about how he thought hogs were neat at first, and then he realized that was kind of wrong. But we made a little trail to get down in here to this trap. This is an old hog pen's what it was, so we nicknamed it the pig pen. You generally won't hear me use the word pig. To me, pig is something a farmer raises, and a hog is something the devil raises, kind of the way I see it. Pig's got a great purpose as long as it's in the right type of environment. But well, got a little bit of a tree limb issue here I need to deal with so we can get through here. That's why it's nice to always have a four-wheeler or a gator you can just kind of ease in. But let me get out there and do a little handiwork, and we'll get back to you. So we're down here at the pig pen trap. You can see having some tools kind of helps. It gets expensive because all the trucks pretty much have all the same tools. We do have a little electric chainsaw we take with us sometimes, but all the trucks have a cordless sawzall. Works good for small stuff. So get that stuff out of the way. So we have to come down here at night or something to drag some hogs out. You know, we don't have to negotiate that. We're coming in here anyway. We're making noise. So it's kind of like we might as well just get the best bang for our buck and whatever we need to do to get this, you know, trap prep for the next go round. But so it's called the pig pen. It's a standard Jagger Pro single gate 12 panel system. It's running a mine camera, on time feeder, and an ice camera on the outside. Nothing super special about it. Trap location, I'm gonna flip the camera around so you can kind of get a little idea of why we chose this location and the purpose of this trap, what it's trying to do. So back up that way, we actually have a crop field, probably about 200 yards maybe, give or take. So we're not really trying to protect that field. It's not a very big field, non-irrigated. This is a pretty decent sized tract of pines. There's a pretty decent sized lake that direction, but it's a ways. And then down there is a significant wet hole. Now, the property next to us, we don't have permission to be on that property. And the next tract of land on the other side of that is actually what we're trying to protect. So roughly, we are probably a quarter mile from the field we're trying to keep the hogs off of. So the property we're on right now actually has nothing to do with our farmer, but got permission from the landowner, working together to say, hey, can we put a trap here? So basically the goal is that we're kind of getting them out of this wet hole down there. They come up through here, and it's worked pretty well to keep them out of a field a quarter mile away, which seems kind of crazy. But again, if we're trying to trap in that field, you know, and you got peanuts in there, they're going to go for the peanuts. So we're getting them way before they get there. So another little interesting tidbit for you is you'll see we're right up underneath a very nice live oak tree, which pushes out a lot of acorns. So the advantage of that is it's a natural food source dropping into our trap, which is a good thing. So part of the reason we picked the location, because when acorns start dropping, hogs don't give a damn about that corn. So we're kind of using Mother Nature to help us trap the beast. We're gonna let the trap grow up a little bit, get vines on it. Doesn't bother us at all. You'll see here that we're running a ice camera right there, shooting into the gate. Like I said earlier, it's a standard Jagger Pro single gate system. We've got Wyatt's little design he made to kind of keep coons from hitting that little lever right there. I don't have the safety pin in yet, just started videotaping, haven't even gone into the system. And then you come over here and you'll see that we're running a mine camera. You'll see that some of our systems have an owl on top. That was this great idea of mine to deter squirrels, because you know, owls and squirrels supposedly aren't friends. That was a complete failure and a disaster. Clearly I'm not a biologist or anything. I had a squirrel actually chew on the owl's head, so that pretty much told me that that was not working. Maybe I need a bigger owl, I don't know, but we're always fighting the squirrels and the coons. So it's not uncommon. You'll see right here a little rooting inside the trap. You can drop a gate, within about 2 minutes they're going to start rooting up a hole. That's just how hogs are, and we like it. It looks good for future hogs that are coming to visit. The design of the trap is kind of close to what I would prefer, but it's not completely oval like I would like it. It's got a weird turn to it. And I know for some of you in TV land, you're like, seriously? Well, everybody's got their pet peeve. So that's what the feed bag's up for. We've had just a few kernels of corn shoot outside that panel on that other side. And then there's that one hog who will stand out there and eat 3 kernels of corn and look for 4 kernels of corn while the rest of the hogs are in here. Feed bag on the corner, the varmint guard on time is spinning at 50%, spins at 50, 75, or 100. It's at 50%, the lowest setting, and then it just forces that corn to drop straight down. It's already dropped twice today, 2 and 4 o'clock. So anyway, we're going to do our routine trap maintenance. We're going to jump on that feeder, and then jump on that mine camera, and then jump on the control box, then jump on the ice camera, pack our bags up, and we're going to head to what we call the power line. So we're over here at the pecan orchard. We just finished up at the pig pen, come across the dirt road, down another little road, left the Tacoma right back there. There's a, I mean, a big ass tractor must have come down that little road there, because the Tacoma would get through that hole, but I wouldn't like all that red Georgia clay all over her, so I'm gonna let her sit right there. So let's take a look at this pecan orchard here. The issue is it's irrigated, which it's got to be, but then that gives you fresh, soft dirt for the hogs to root in, and then also a grass called nutgrass. Google nutgrass. That is the candy for hogs. They love it. We've even thought about putting a trap and growing nutgrass in it. Now, we kind of already talked about this a little bit, but the problem is that the man that owns a pecan orchard is using a trapping system that does not have a camera that runs it. So in our opinion, and many other people's opinion who professionally trap hogs, it's a system that educates hogs. So our farmer, who we work for, farms everything around these pecan orchards. I gotta move or I'm gonna get wet. And so, long story short, we came in with a trap, a chief trap, reactive hog approach, which we do not agree with. And basically we're doing that to keep from educating hogs eventually that we will have to deal with. So the pecan owner and the farmer who we work for have negotiated being able to pay us. So the issue is now is that the hogs have gotten used to the soft dirt to chew, eat on, root, eat all the above. They have also found the nutgrass. So they're going right by our trap. Our trap is about 100 yards out of the pecan orchard, back in the pines where they're coming from. But they know what this is up here, so they got the good stuff. So we could have already dropped the gate on 3 young, say 20, 30 pounders. They've been in the trap. Last night we had 2 adults in the trap. We don't know what the group is. But now we have the pressure of the damage they're doing in the pecan orchard. You know, hey, they're rooting up my pecan orchard, See, this is reactive. Proactive is we're way back there in the woods. We see the group before they even get near the pecan orchard. They find our food source first, and then we identify, get the group, boom, flip the switch, done. Now we're in a reactive mode. But the only reason we're involved in this project right now is we know eventually we will have to deal with these hogs. If they're going to get educated. And then I'm sorry, that's my firm belief and many others that if a hog activates a trap, it is going to educate other hogs who aren't in the trap. Our whole goal is to catch the whole group and identify the group and take the group out. So I'm going to jump off that screen right here, let you take a little look at this pecan orchard. So I did a video, we were here last Thursday, Zeb and I were, and we set it up way there in the back. It was about 742 degrees, 900% humidity, and in the sun, and it was a beautiful day in South Georgia. But we're gonna bebob up here, just kind of see what they're rooting on, and then we're not gonna go back to the trap, but we'll get right back to you. So here's you a little bit of rooting. And again, for us in the business, that's probably just one boar who's bored. You know, his satellite went out or whatever, and you know, he couldn't watch Hogs Gone Wild or something, I don't know. And that's it. And then he got after something and then moved on and moved on and moved on and moved on. So hog damage is really overrated when they think of hogs. I mean, you know, a decent group of hogs would destroy this place in one night. But this here typically is what we'd call like a solo boar. Just came through here. And generally you can look for tracks. And I'm seeing like one adult size track. So not, you know, not uncommon. You know, there's always going to be a solo boar. But we know there's 2 adults. We're at the back of the orchard right now, so it's really kind of hard to, I mean, I can see the very top of the trap, so I will do my best to zoom in. But basically about 100 yards, let's see, right about there is the trap. We really wanted to go further back. Really there wasn't a place to put it. So let me zoom back out. So those pines were thinned, which means they got rid of some pines so them pines could grow up to be big boys. And then there's a lot of underbrush in there. So anytime you got underbrush, and then there's a creek that runs all the way around where I'm going with the camera. There's a creek that runs there. Now if you follow that creek down and you go that direction, we have another trap down there. And so they haven't found that trap. It's buried. For whatever reason, they're staying right up in here, and the reason probably why, food source. They've got water to root in. They've got enough water in that creek over there so they can lay down in it and cool. And then they can come up here and hit some nut grass. So you see a little bit of rooting there, a little bit of rooting here. And that's kind of how it goes. But if that trap was in place in a proactive state, they would have come through them pines, found that trap, hit that corn. Pretty much that'd have been it. But right now they got a taste of the good stuff. So we're gonna try to work back towards the truck, do a little bit more scouting. We've got one more system to get to at power line. And then we got to start putting a wiggle in it because we don't want to get going to a trap too late in the evening. It's still nice and good and warm, so them hogs won't be near a trap. So we'll get back to you. Okay, so a little bit more rooting up here. We're still in the same pecan orchard. Just kind of worked up around the corner. So again, they're here because of the water. So irrigates, makes it soft, gives them something to root in. Again, not in my opinion what you'd be seeing as a lot of hogs. It might just be those 2 adults and them 3 young ones. You're seeing there. Looking for tracks. A lot of people don't think of, pecan as a crop. It's a crop. Pine trees, when you grow pine trees, it's a crop. Corn, all those are crops. That's what you think of, but sod's a crop. So you can see up here, again, not a bunch of hogs in my opinion. This is just a couple of hogs, which we may be down to just 2 adults is the issue, and them 3 young ones. But you can see what they're doing. And they get in here, and like I said, they'll find a grub or a worm or something, or they'll get after some nut grass, and they go to town. So, pretty fresh. We had a lot of sun today. So you get down here, got some good moisture. So they were in here doing some spraying. You can see the tractor tires. But again, that right there will probably be exactly what they want tonight. But until we actually identify what the group is, if we flip the switch, anything, again, broken record, but anything outside of that trap, when that trap comes down or the gate comes down, we just sent them to school. And that's where we get these solo boars that we literally cannot trap. They've done seen it, they've done figured it out. So we scouted it. I told the owner of the pecans I'd come take a look at it. Tell the boys, always do what you tell people you're going to do. And we're going to back out Tacoma up and avoid that big old hole, and then head on to power line. Alrighty, we're at our last stop for today. Kind of cutting it close, but we'll be all right. This trap's been pretty slow here lately. So you'll see in the background we got a cotton field. We started working for this customer, I think last August. We've dropped at least taken 2 groups out of this hole back here, and a couple solos. Crop rotation was peanuts last year. It's cotton this year. So cotton years are good years for us, because hogs typically don't mess with cotton too much unless they're rooting around in there looking for last year's peanuts or some volunteers. So it's kind of like a deep breath when we know the crop rotation is going to come in. It's going to be cotton. But we'll kind of show you the layout. I'll try to hook that GoPro, if I can talk, back up on the 4-wheeler, and then we're going to ease back along the edge of the field, and then we'll show you how we place this trap back in a hole like we normally do with everything. But absolutely beautiful. It's just, it hit 100 today, but this breeze from the depression that's going on out in the ocean. People are depressed out there, I guess, and a lot of emotions coming this way, but in the form of nice, cool breeze. So we're gonna load up, head back there, do our trap maintenance, and maybe get you some good footage of some cotton trying to make it. We got a good rain the other day, but it's been dry. This is a non-irrigated field, so you always feel bad for the non-irrigated guys. Alrighty, let's do this. So we're at the very back of the field now. Historically, our customer had somebody coming in here and shooting hogs with a thermal. So the field kind of wraps around, it kind of drops off. So naturally hogs, they're the 4th smartest creature in the world. So they know if they stay on this back end, they'll be in good shape. They can't be seen from the road. So our approach, as with all of our properties, first thing we decided was we got to get out of this field. So we went back this direction, had our farmer put in this gate, and then we went back through here, right? And we're back there in the woods and took a chainsaw and made a road. Maybe 400 yards off the back end of this field. We don't have much property lines to work with. I mean, we're running out of property. But we're back up in there. It's been successful. It's kept them out of here. So that's kind of the strategy. I mean, I can promise you most people would put the trap right here in the field. And then I'm fighting with that food source. And I don't want to fight with the food source. There's a creek down here that they come up and down. It's one of their travel corridors. So what we're looking at is, you know, they're coming off that creek. They come up, boom, there it is. So far we've been good. We've only had like one sow drift through here probably a month ago. She went in the trap, she fed for a little bit, she left. Never saw her again. She wasn't worried about the trap. She was on her way going somewhere. So anyway, we're gonna pop this gate open. We're gonna ease down in there, and still got the GoPro going, I think. Little red lights blinking. Positive. Zebby will be proud. And then you'll see us actually the little road we made and drive right into it. So hang on. So we're here in the trap, standard Jagger Pro 12 panel single gate system. It's not the newest gate that Jagger Pro's come out with, but it's actually kind of one of my favorite gates. So we're actually also running live video on this system. We're running a live video camera with a booster, directional booster antenna. We have an app on our phone where we can dial that antenna towards the nearest cell tower. We're running a 4-leg metal barrel, on-time feeder, varmint guard. Not a lot of coon issues down here, so no hardware cloth on it. We went ahead and kind of jumped ahead of the game, figuring we would have squirrel issues, so because we're pretty far down in the woods. So we went ahead and put ammo can, a flex conduit, little combination we came up with. So I'm gonna flip this camera around. That way y'all can, kind of get a look at what I'm talking about. And then we're just gonna do our routine maintenance. So up there you've got the standard Hog Cutters big pole, and then it's an ammo can, and then we're running a conduit clamp in there, okay? And I know that's a huge, gigantic surprise, but that's Gorilla Caulk. And then we just get empty flex conduit, run our backup battery wire going through that. Now that's a Jagger Pro live video camera, so it's a 12-volt system, not a 6-volt system. And then there's your booster antenna, and it's actually dialed towards the nearest cell tower. Almost 95% of the time, if we're running live video, we go ahead and boost it. We spend the money for the pole, and we spend the money for the antenna, the directional antenna, just because those cameras like good cell service. They like to be happy, so we don't want any issues, boost it. So again, as I said earlier, we've got the 4-pole on-time feeder system. One thing to point out, you probably have figured it out, but I mean that's the Jagger Pro app downloading pictures, and it's literally our life. That camera or cameras coming into that phone, you see it just popping. I mean, it's non-stop, especially when it starts getting low light like it is right now. We would normally not do maintenance this close to dark. I mean, we're good hour and a half out of dark, but this trap's been pretty slow right now, so we feel pretty confident. Safety pin's not in. Running a Jagger Pro ice camera on the back side here, so watching the gate. That creek is just down there about 50 yards. So we had to come in here with a chainsaw and cut it. You see that we left trees. But the shape of the design, the trap shape's pretty good. I kind of like this one. It's got that little bit of an oval design that I prefer. So I'm going to jump off of the camera here, go ahead and jump on that feeder, start doing our maintenance. And pretty much that's it for this one. Like I said, we made a little road down here, and nothing too crazy. And you can kind of see the daylight up there. So we're a couple hundred yards off the back end of this field. There's a little bit of a drainage ditch that the hogs used to go up to that field. So this was kind of why we came up with the location. But let's put this camera down and get back to work. Okay, we got the system, everything's firing. Gate's firing, feeder's running good, live video's running, ice camera's running. Not much air down here, so I am sweating a little bit like Wyatt in church. Couldn't let you get by today without seeing that one or hearing it. So walk with me. We're gonna walk down here, kind of take a look. I'm not sure this is how I'm supposed to do it, but I'm doing it. Kind of want you to see why we picked this spot. I imagine that crunching is kind of loud. I apologize. As I said when we were up on top of the hill, we don't have a whole lot of property to work with down here. So you can see here, maybe you can, we got a pretty good trail. It's actually a deer trail. We do have a few does that are coming in the trap right now. Now this is where we get to the meat of it. So it's what you call a wet weather creek, but it is a thoroughfare for hogs. So they're going to travel that. Hopefully that wasn't too fast for y'all. Back up that way is where the trap's at. So let's say that we knew we had hogs in the area. Let's say we had a Jagger Price camera over there somewhere, you know, whatever. Then what we would typically do is put on our Hansel and Gretel hat. I have no idea who they are, but I know they made trails to do something. And we would make a trail from this little spot here and then run it just right up to the trap. Not a big heavy trail, because we don't want their to have a big full, their little fat bellies to have a big full belly when they get up there, right? We want them just to kind of get a taste of it. Now the problem is typically raccoons are going to take that from you. So that's part of it. Hand baiting is not a good idea. It really isn't. Because you're coming in here and you're making scent, you're going to blow them out of here. I mean, that's the problem. You got to run feeders. And I'm not trying to say an on-time feeder. That's just what we run. But you got to run feeders and stay out of these traps. Do your maintenance. Put corn on the ground. Stay away. Bottom line. They don't like the smell of us. And you may be going there in TV land, well, he's got the four-wheeler parked in it. Most of these hogs have smelled diesel fuel, transmission oil, engine oil, WD-40. Anything these farmers are using in the field, I'm sorry, some of it may actually touch the ground occasionally. They've smelled it. But they know that we're the problem. You'd be amazed at night that these hogs will actually go around farm equipment. They know we're not there. But when they smell us, it's a different story. It's the boss. But I silenced her. But hopefully she won't watch these YouTube videos, so it don't matter. So anyway, if you see here, this is just what we're looking for. Okay, a lot of coon tracks down in here. And a lot of the neat part is we've got a trap coming up next week that we're going to show you. Pretty cool trap. We get a lot of runoff. The corn actually goes into the creek and it runs down into a swamp. They follow the corn. So there we go, looking kind of dark there for a little bit. But we fixing to load up, get out of here, and wrap up the day. So we're on our way back to the truck, coming along the edge of this cotton field. And there's a little bunny. Yeah, that's right, a hog trapper. Well, we're back here at the truck. Got the four-wheeler loaded up, everything ready to go. Good part about this trap, it's not far from the house, so I fixed my hat. But yeah, it's not far from the house, so I can be home in about 10 minutes, which is nice. But beautiful sunset. I like this time of the evening, seeing the sun come down over a cotton field, peanut field, any kind of field. Nobody's out here bothering you. Crows kind of being aggravating, but maybe a hawk will come by and tune them up. But we'll get back to the house, get everything unloaded, get geared up. There's a high probability that we'll drop in Florida tonight. So I want to try to get to bed and get a few hours sleep before we got to saddle up and make that run. But anyway, beautiful, beautiful evening in South Georgia. Well, I did some modifications to the platform we're building for a customer. It's the Cage, C-A-G-E. We're not advertising for them, but if I say that, I don't try to figure out, well, what did he say? But anyway, it's a basically a permanent hub line, so it elevated off the ground. Just kind of show you here. He basically came in, decided to weld in some gussets, give these legs a little bit more support. So he put 4 gussets. 2 on each leg. So we all kind of thought about it, figured it'd be a good idea to give it a little extra support. Well, that's fitting. Wyatt's moving one of the Dodges, so you gotta love that sound. I had filmed this, but I was about ready to call it quits, filmed it, and then Wyatt came down here and started talking to me, and I decided to redo it, which I normally don't. Normally I just film it, let it rip. But good day today. Everything's put up, foiler's up, Tacoma's up, board's updated, customer's battery's on the charger. We didn't really fix the camera, but we tried to fix it. Brain likes to fix things. Outstanding to see Mr. John. You could see the smile. I just love that guy. I mean, he is so dear to our family. And he's just a good man. I mean, just like when you need that boost, of hope that we aren't all a snowball headed for hell. Merle Hager. Just have a conversation with Mr. John at a fence row. And I wish I had more conversations. I miss our late nights trapping together and packages of crackers and a bottle of water. I miss all that. But I do love him dearly. I really do. I'm a little off today. I'm not exactly my normal, whatever the hell the normal is for me. But really what it is we released that second YouTube video today, Zeb did. And, I pretty much put it out there, and I'm okay with that in the right settings, but I never really put it out there in what I call in the hog world. In my other world, it's all over the place. Plenty of videos, not YouTube videos, but training videos. I've done presentations, and, we all want to be accepted for who we are. And we don't want to be judged. At least I think the majority of us don't. We just want to be accepted. But at my age, at 55, I don't know how much time I got left. So I kind of figured here not long ago, I had an epiphany, and I was like, I'm just going to be me. Whatever me is. And people do all kinds of things to feel good. They really do. A lot of them aren't healthy things to feel good. I'm just trying to do what feels good. To me, what feels good is trapping hogs, writing about stuff, letting you all take a glimpse into this world, and not the perception or the lens that social media has put out there. We're just real people. Real people that are educated, maybe not educated, real people with families, real people with feelings, real people with problems. And today, was it a 10-day exciting and thermals and gates dropping and hogs coming up to the panel and chomping their teeth? No, wasn't none of that. You're just out there working, you know, just like you. And maybe that's not something people want to click on and sit in their sofa and watch. I don't know. Or maybe you need the calmness and the peace of it. But I am a little off today just because it's out there now. You know, will I be accepted? Will I get the little likes or comments, or, you know, what is it? And does it hurt sometimes when you don't feel you're accepted? It does hurt. But if one person, this has always been my theory, and I learned this from the doc that I work with and I write with. If one person is moved by this video, then it was all worth it to me. Even if there's 45 negatives out of this video, but there's one person that got them to that next step, whatever that next step is, whatever clears the path, whatever gets them to hit the ground in the morning and run it, whatever gives them that boost of hope, whatever takes that snowball and blows it up and it doesn't head straight for hell. That's worth it to me. So if you're sitting there in TV land and you're like, man, how does a guy put himself out there like that? That's how you do it. For that one person. And it happens. Sometimes I'll get a phone call, an email, or a text from somebody I've never met going, hey man, I just read something you wrote and I'm good. So, a little heavy, maybe not too much heavy. Plan is now, big ass salad. I got to catch up on some pictures. That phone's been hammering, the Jagger Pro app. I have to analyze the pictures. I got to go through and where we at. May drop in Central Florida tonight, maybe not. But either way, big ass salad. Spend some time with the bride. She's up there, and she ain't gonna last much longer, and she's gonna be headed to bed. So I hope y'all enjoyed today. I promise you that I will be back in better form. You know, I'll have more humor maybe. And anyway, so from us here at Hog Cutters Trapping Company to y'all in TV land, I hope you enjoyed the video. Enjoy your night.